Hi, hello friends. I've just come back from making my third episode radio interview just now, and I feel so grateful and happy and high energy, and I wanted to come live here and share with you the gist of what was in that radio interview here in English as a record for myself and for my audience here on social media. So, this is my third episode on radio. I feel so incredibly blessed to have this opportunity to share my message. We did one for International Yoga Day, and then we've recorded one more today, which is going to be casted very soon, and I'll be sharing the link soon. But here today I am to share with you what we spoke in the radio. So there's a student from Tamil Nadu who has cracked one of the very difficult exams and got 100%. And when he was interviewed, what was the secret behind his success? He said that it's because he meditated every day, and not only that, his family member who was with him said that they also meditated and sent that energy to him when he was writing these exams, and that was their important message that they were sharing, saying you can also do it. They say usually we ask our children to do the meditation and do everything that they need to be a better learner, but we don't necessarily take an active part in us meditating and sending them that energy. So that really stood out for me, and I thought this is a powerful message to be shared with, we all have children. We not only for students, we also want to be have better ability to concentrate in whatever work we are doing, have good strong cognitive power, and for that meditation is a great tool. What I would like to do here is to decode what happens in meditation. It is established meditation is useful, and it increases our concentration and focus. Everybody says that, and we also know that. But let's go deeper, a little bit deeper into that to really decode and understand a little bit scientifically what actually happens when we meditate in our brain. So to understand that, first let's understand a little bit about our brain. So our brain has three parts. It has the neocortex, the frontal lobe, and then it has the middle brain, which is the limbic brain, and then it has the cerebellum, which is the subconscious mind. Yes, the subconscious brain. So we can understand there are three parts, and then today we're going to talk about the frontal lobe or the neocortex. Neo means new, right? So in evolution process, in the evolution of human beings, the neocortex, which is the front part of our brain, is the newest formation. It is the newest evolution that we've had. This is what keeps us, separates us from animals, from the rest of the animals. The rest of the animals don't have the nearly as large a neocortex as human beings, and that's why although we are smaller in size than most animals, we can say that we literally rule the planet because of our ability to think and analyze things. It's because those are the functions of the frontal lobe. So what happens when we meditate? The frontal lobe gets switched on. We flip the switch to the frontal lobe. We are able to get the frontal lobe to actually do the functions that it is able to do. So that means we need to understand what are the capabilities of the frontal lobe. Okay, so when we are meditating, we are sending most of our energy to the frontal lobe, and because of that, the frontal lobe or neocortex gets switched on. The switch gets flipped to the on. Okay, and because of that, what happens? All its capacities comes into action. So what are its capacities? Number one is metacognition. Number two is able to create a new mind, and number three is converting our thoughts into reality. Now let's understand one by one what each of these are. So metacognition, let's understand metacognition means ability to understand or become aware of our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions. Only human beings have that because of the neocortex ability to do that. So becoming aware of our thoughts, our emotions, and our actions means we have power into segregating what thoughts and what emotions and what actions we want to continue doing, and what thoughts, what emotions, what actions we want to let go and stop doing it, right? So this ability is the number one function of the metacognition, the function of the frontal lobe. So we sometimes we are aware of many of our thoughts that we are consciously, that keeps happening in our conscious life. We know some, we get angry in certain situations, or we know that certain things trigger us, or we know that this is the way we do certain things, and we know, okay, I'm doing like this but it's not working for me, and consciously that these are the changes you need to make. But over and above that, or below that I should say, there is a lot of thoughts and behaviors that are embedded in our subconscious mind, which we are not aware of, but unconsciously it is there in us, and it is dictating our automatic reactions, our reflexive behaviors. All this is happening literally like we have no power on that, right? It's like the software that's running our life. And when we flip on the switch to the front neocortex, we are able to access even that information. We are able to understand what are unconscious thoughts and behaviors, and understand the root cause of that. Where is that coming from? Maybe some traumatic experience or some experience in your childhood that has created a certain belief, and that is triggering you to act and automatically and behave in certain ways. Through metacognition, we become aware, we are able to know about these things, right? So that's the number one function. Number two, so in metacognition, we are able to dictate and let go, forgive what we don't want. We are able to hold on to what we want to keep having in our life. Number two is creating a new mind, the second function. So we are doing this even unconsciously. So when we want to change a circumstance in our life, or we have a certain desire, we always use our imagination to wonder how it would be to have this so and so experience. How would it feel like if we go to wear this certain dress, right? This certain designer where you've been keeping your eye on, and you make your imagination wearing them and wonder how it would feel like. Or you would wonder how it would feel like to be like a certain kind of a person that we admire, maybe in history, maybe a role model that we have in our life. So through our imagination process, we are able to, by asking these questions, we are able to bring into our imagination how we want to be or what we want to experience through our imagination. This is the second function. So what happens in our imagination is, when we are wondering, like say for example, I'm wondering how would it be to travel to a particular country. So when I think of this particular country, say I want to go to Egypt, and I've looked at this Mummy 1, 2, 3, and I'm fascinated about all these places that I want to visit in Egypt. So when I start imagining all the visions and pictures that I've seen in the Mummy movie, and I've seen in other magazines or books or online that I've seen, it's all there stored in different parts of my brain. And when my frontal cortex, my neocortex, the front part of the brain is switched on, all this information comes together and comes together cohesively as a beautiful image in my mind. All these different informations I've accumulated over a period of time about Egypt comes together and forms a cohesive imagination in my mind. And that beautiful thing, creating this new reality, is being done by our front part of our brain, the neocortex, which is our special, our special position. So if you want to be a better student, a better parent, or wealthier person, what we need to do is collect more information around that subject. So through our imagination, we are able to create a new reality using all those different informations that we have about this particular subject that we want to be good in. Right? So if you want to be wealthy, you want to figure out different ways of earning money, different ways of investing, different ways of managing your wealth, and so on. When you get all this information, you are able to imagine and create a picture through your ability, through your frontal lobe. It's able to create a picture with that information and give you a precise plan as to how you want to execute gives you a roadmap to become this wealthy person that you wish to be, right? So that's the second one. The third one is making a thought into reality. This is really, really special because generally you need to think, you need to do something and before you master something, right? But through meditation, you're able to think and then go directly to master and becoming that person. That is because of this ability of our frontal lobe that we have. So what happens when we are switching on the frontal lobe is it gathers all the other energy from the other part of the brain, other part of our body, and brings it to our frontal lobe, and whatever thought that we are thinking gets all that energy, get our entire life energy. And because of that, what happens, that thought converts into a real experience in the body. Like you're actually every time you're experiencing something, there is a certain chemical secretion and hormone secretion in our body. When our frontal lobe is switched on and it's having all this energy from the rest of the body, that whatever thought we are having at that point, it gets all that energy, and it's like all the chemicals that would be, all the hormones that would be secreted in your body, if this was really happening to you, actually gets secreted in your body. And there are many, many studies to prove this. There are many research to prove this, where, a bunch of piano students who actually practice, and another bunch who were doing it in their imagination, the other bunch who didn't do anything. After the research was done, when they found the ones who really practiced piano and the ones who did it in their imagination had the same change in their muscles and their fingers. How cool is that, right? There are so many different studies like this there to prove that our ability to bring things into reality just through imagination. How cool is that, right? It's because this frontal lobe has this ability for neuroplasticity. That's another thing that the science has established now, that throughout our life, it's not like earlier, once you're a child and you've grown up, it's like you're set in stone, was the belief, like, your brain cannot change. Now, through this new understanding of neuroplasticity, we know that purely through our thinking, ability to focus our brain and literally flip on the switch of our frontal lobe using meditation, we can change our reality. We can actually let go of things we don't need, create a new mind, and so experience a new life. And when we experience a new life from our inner, like it's really happening, we literally become a new person. When we become a new person, that will automatically reflect in our environment. So one other point, what happens is when all this energy comes to your frontal lobe, we literally go to a point of forgetting our body, forgetting our mind, and forgetting our environment. That's how powerful the frontal lobe is. And when we forget all of these circumstances that we've grown up with, the body we are, the mind we are able to create a whole new reality. So this was the gist of my radio interview. And one way that anyone can start meditating is by observing their thought. Okay, to learn meditation, I'm a stress management expert. I teach people how to manage stress within 30 days to stress, being someone who has had stress related issues throughout my life, leading to burnout, autoimmune condition, infertility, it became my mission to decode this, and I've been on this path of healing myself, my body, healing the traumas that were embedded in my body, which was creating this constant stress in my life. I literally could go down and become aware of all of that using chakra balancing techniques, exercises, and meditation. I have been able to heal myself, and now I help other people to do the same thing. You can make a tremendous shift in your life within a 30-day period, and I do that with my kids yoga students to learn meditation and to practice meditation. And you can do this. The simplest way you can do that is set an alarm for 5 minutes and close your eyes. Find a spot where you won't be distracted. Close your eyes, all your distractions. The minute we close our eyes, most of our distractions goes away. The minute you find a spot where you're not going to be disturbed, again you're removing a lot of the disturbance. And then you set an alarm for 5 minutes and bring your attention to the tip of your nose. And when you do that, you are flipping on the switch of your frontal lobe. That is all it takes for you to start in this journey. You can change your 5 minutes to 6 minutes to 7 minutes, 10 minutes, and keep growing your time period. There are so many more techniques you can learn as you already start your journey. But this is your call today to start your journey and take your life back in your own hands, because God has given you the tools to do that. All you had to do is just learn. What I'm telling you now is literally the user manual information of a tool that you already have. This amazing neocortex that we have as human beings. So start your meditation today, and let me know how you go. Ask me your questions that comes up for you, and I'd be happy to help you with that. Meanwhile, make sure you follow, subscribe wherever you're watching me, either in YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. Make sure you follow. And let me know how your journey goes. I thank you for watching. Have a good night.